I'll be working on movement, as in the movement type. So at the moment, we can just walk around, dum da dum dum. But really, what we want is to have some class of its own that controls movement, that will have an accessor to some kind of movement stat probably. It will control the type of movement, if they walk around, if they warp or fly, or maybe something else if I can think it up. Yeah, the way I think I'll handle that is by having some kind of script called movement, and then I will have some kind of script called movement type, and that will be abstract, and then I will build off of that the walk movement, fly movement, and warp movement. And then the movement class that will be coupled to a unit, that will hold the default style of movement, and it will also be able to update the style of movement. So if you cast a spell like fly, then the movement class should be able to then change the type of movement from, say, walk to fly. And then if for some reason fly runs out, if it's a spell cast on you or something, then movement should be able to handle returning you back to the default movement. So that's the plan anyway. So let's go add something here, just call it movement. I will clear up this screen. Let's see, movement. Just get rid of everything for now. Public int movement allowance or something like that. Move distance, maybe something like that. There'll be some way of getting the value. Return 0 for now, just so it's got something, or 4, just because that's what I've been going with. At the moment, I don't think I need to know the unit this is attached to. Again, that might change. And let's get some kind of maybe a movement folder. Yeah, okay, put movement in here, and then do movement type. Make this abstract. So they're gonna have some. This will have some way of deciding which tiles you can move to. So this is effectively going to have its own sort of pathfinding. Hmm. Okay, movement type. We'll just see what gets put in. Um, Walk movement type. So movement type. What does that mean? What do you mean working on it? Okay. What am I even looking for here? Let's get stats or stat. We'll just add in movement at the bottom there. Um, so now we have a movement stat. You can say maybe this guy can move 4. The thief can maybe move 5. Just being all sneaky and quick and shit. The barbarian can move 6 because why not? And the mage can move about 3 because slow and weak. Now this movement object will grab. Okay, now we do need the. I guess. Yeah, probably just grab the unit. Public unit, uh, parent unit, return, get component, unit. I was just wondering, I don't think we want to have this as its own object, so it's fine to have the unit like that. Move distance is going to be the parent unit, stats.get, start.movement. Now, I don't think there's going to be very many movement types. No, you've maybe got walk, fly, warp, maybe even dig. And you know, you're really running low already. So I think what I would do is maybe want to turn this into an enum. Um, and when you pass in to change the type of movement, we just hard code the type. I've got a feeling that's the best way to do it. It does mean it's very it's probably weak because then you create a movement type that builds off this, but then you also need to add that movement type to the enum, and then you need to add the handling of it to movement. But like I say, I don't really think there's going to be that many movement types, and once you've got them all, you've kind of got them all. So that would be my rationale for that. Um, I've already used movement type. So let's go base movement. We'll just turn base movement into what we had movement type as. So yeah, I think that's all it was. Yep, and then movement type, we will just turn this into an enum because the wording's just better for type, and then base movement. Make this type base movement. Okay, so in here, none, just as a catch-all case. Walk, fly, warp, and I'll add dig because it's popped into my head and it might be interesting. I was trying to think up if I wanted these to behave differently or if it's mostly just going to be a visual thing. I think for walk, we've already got that. For fly, maybe just hover off of the tile about 0.5. We don't even need to go crazy with it. Just hover a little bit and then move the path you normally would. I was thinking of just having them fly directly to the tile because I've seen that before, but I might take the Disgaea approach to fly and just say you can move through units to land anywhere, not on top of a tile that's taken though. But yeah, it just looks like you're floating, moving across the grid. So that's what we do for that. Warp, they don't really move, you just disappear from one tile and appear on another. And dig, it might just be a little animation to show them moving down into the ground and then going somewhere. And even this probably has restrictions because I might need to mark whether a piece of flooring is sort of ground earth or if it's like a bridge or something. You can't really dig into a bridge and then, whatever. I've talked about this too long. I maybe don't even need any of these base classes and things if the movement's going to be just hard coded somewhere. I could just hard code it into movement, so when you want to move somewhere, we ask movement to add something to the action queue, and we can just add a different action. So it'll be walk action, it'll be fly action, warp action. So that might be one way of doing it. Maybe don't even need these base and walk and rubbish like that. So we'll just delete them for now. So here's the basis of it. We're going to have a private movement type of movement type. Um, some sort of accessor for the movement type, and then also a explicit set movement type. But we also want movement type, default movement type. And this is what we'll always fall back on. So yeah, if we cast a spell that is fly, when it runs out, we will reset back to this movement type. Public void reset movement type. We will set movement type to default movement type. Add action to action queue. That's maybe redundant. Add action to action queue. And then here we'll do some kind of switch or ifs. So the first one, I will just rename the move action that we currently have to be walk action, because this is just what we want really for walking. Jumping down. So yeah, move action can be renamed to walk move action. That's still fine, right? Didn't break everything. Give it a quick test. Let's just see. Get this back down here. Yep, all looks good still. Okay, so we should give the prefabs unit a movement class. Maybe on the unit itself, we will add serialized field, private, movement type, default movement type. Void set default movement type. So we will access movement. Oh, we don't have that yet. So just like every other component, we will get it, return component movement. Movement dot set. You know what? There should also be a set default movement type. I don't think we need to access default movement type. This dot default equals that. Don't really need this, but you know, it's fine. Yeah, I don't think this is required outside of this, because all we need to do is set it to begin with and reset it anytime we want to. So we can set default movement type to default movement type and then reset just to update the current movement type. So we can come out here and you know what? Actually, inside the prefab itself, I will just set the default to be walk because that makes sense. By default, all units will just walk. Yep, default walk. So, let's go to the states. Select move position is the one we want. Maybe not actually. Battle turn, movement left. So movement left is what we're looking for. Where do we set that? Initialize. Nope, it's on a new turn. Movement left equals 4. So this can be changed now to acting battle unit. Dot, yeah, probably want to update the battle unit to have access to movement, just like that. So we can do the battle unit dot movement dot move distance. So now if I test it, the only thing that should be different is each of the characters should be able to move different ranges now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So already we can see a difference. You can move 5. She can move 6, which is all the way across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, lovely. He can't move any. Did I not give him one? Magic evasion, lovely. So he's not got any movement, and she can move 3. There we go. So that's good. Give him 4. I thought I did change that. Okay, so almost there. So let's say the thief can fly. The mage can warp, and the barbarian can dig. Add action to queue. So select move position. Is this where we add the action? It is. So instead of this, we want to access the acting battle unit equals battle.turn.acting battle unit. Access the movement and then add action to action queue. We will rip this code. You know what? We probably do need to pass in the move position. So it's got some idea of where we're trying to move it to. So let's add that in. Is it just a V3 or is it V3i? Let's see. It's a V3i for some reason. Move position. Um, you know what, that's good actually. I like keeping keep it to integers rather than having all these floating points everywhere. Okay, so add that. We will rip this out and just paste that in here and fix it. We then clear and then change to perform, which is brilliant. So this is going to be passing in a battle unit, which is something we don't have. Hmm. I'm wondering if movement should be restricted to battle units. And the unit can maybe just have the access to the default movement type. Maybe we don't need movement on the unit. Let's try and make that change. Because yeah, tiles and movement and everything is very much a battle unit um, area of expertise. So let's go prefabs again. Unit, we will remove the movement. We'll open up battle unit and we will add movement. So in the unit, we won't have this. In battle unit, we will have to replace this with get component, movement. Um, okay, let's try and change this because it's just screaming at us. So this will be battle unit, parent battle unit, get component, battle unit. So this is just the same really. We'll have parent battle unit dot stats because we already have access to that. Um, so this wants a battle unit, which is just the parent battle unit now. And we already have a move position. And we are now outside of anything that has this. So I think we've already set up the battle controller to be an instance. So we just change a state like that. But really, if we don't want this, if we don't want to be using the battle controller instance, we can just set up a callback in here. And then set callback to callback, I believe. change state, select action, battle state. So there we go. That's add an action to the queue, pass in a position, and then change the state afterwards. And then movement doesn't really care about swapping the state, it just sets the level, set the callback, and done. So we will add ifs. This is only if it's the move action we're interested in. Any other errors? What's going on? Okay, the unit doesn't have this anymore. We don't set the default, we just have a default up here. The battle unit will have to do some kind of setup. Set position, blah blah blah. Let's just see where init is. Initialize. Grid setup. So here's where we set up the battle unit, or can set up a battle unit. We can do movement dot set default, and then we will set the default to unit. So now we don't have access to it, so we will add an accessor for it. Public movement type, default movement type, and we just return default movement type like that. And then reset the movement. So now we've done kind of the same thing, but it's only accessed by the battle unit. So there's movement. I don't think anything should be broken now. It should just do the same thing and add the movement. Yep, seems like it's still the same. Okay, working just the same. So the part that's different is in here. We'll say if the movement type is equal to walk, then do the following. And return. If the movement type is equal to, this is the part that I say it's hard coded and isn't very pretty, but you can probably get away with it because of what it is. You're not going to have a lot of these. And if we manage to make it to the bottom, I would say log error. Could not find a movement type for maybe pass in the person's name. And then put in some kind of just say we're using that as a default. And you could, if you really want, just make this its own function. Might be overkill. And then just pass in what we want. And you just call it here, walk move action, pass in the move position, call back. And the only reason I would do that is because it means we can call it again here. I hope that works like that. I've still passed it in as I normally would with the self-calling function, I think, the lambda function. Okay, so warp is probably the easiest. We're just going to make them disappear and reappear at the point. Actions. Could maybe split these up into like give them different folders so it's easier to find things. Because then there's going to be a few move actions. There's going to be a few different sort of damage dealing type actions. Maybe turn actions, and we can pop end turn and start turn in there. I don't know, status effect. Maybe that's fine for now, but you can probably get some more of these categorized. Let's just duplicate this. Warp move action. So there won't really be an on step. It's just going to be right to the end. So I'll keep it in for the end step because again there may be an effect like some kind of sentinel attack. If someone steps next to you, then you immediately get to attack them. So this could be, that's one reason why warp is cool. It means you don't need to walk past someone, or if you know there's an area that's trapped, then that's fine as well. So all we need is the unit moving and the target position. No need to move, already at the position, that's fine I guess. Jump height is not required for this. I'll just need to pass in an insanely high jump height. Yeah, let's just, I'll just type one in that's high, I suppose. Again, the higher the number I put here, I'm pretty sure that means it's going to look through each of those points, which could slow it down the more code gets added. How tall can one place be, really? Maybe for every tile I can move that many real world tiles up. So let's get the battle unit's move position, or move distance. Multiply by 4 for the height. Or just multiply by 1 divided by utility dot step height. Floor to int. This doesn't work, does it? It's gonna have to wrap around the whole thing. Well, I think that would have worked actually. 1 divided by 0.25 equals 4. So it would have been fine, but this is okay as well. This just means the move distance. So if you can move 3, you can jump 12. 12 divided by 0.25. Oh my god. Hold on. Wait, my brain's just not working. 12, 12 multiplied by 0.25 gives you 3. Okay, that was the point, wasn't it? You can move up the real world distance as you can distance. Maybe this is crap though. Maybe it's not good. Maybe the whole point is you just want to be able to go any height, any depth with a warp. But we'll see how this goes. You could even be edited to do fun things, like if you warp, the distance you can go is like your magic stat. For every 10 intelligence you have, you can move 1 square. Something like that would be pretty fun. But anyway, let's just move on. Yeah, this should probably stay movement loss per square. Yeah, that'll be 1 for this, but it won't be 1 when walking. Set to 1 because we are warping. Doesn't care about terrain. Yeah, we find the path. Really though, this we shouldn't care if something is in our way while moving. So I think this might just be the other one, and instead of find path, it'd be make a target or something. To select target position. So I'll just leave a note. And so here's the important part. The path we literally don't care about. We don't care. What we're going to do is vector 3 Last position. Hold on. We already have the last position. It's just the last point in the path equals path. Yep, nicely done. So we just want to do some kind of animation on the character, I suppose. The scale. Maybe make the scale small. I think I saw that before, and it looked pretty cool. You just make them small and then you make them big again on the position. So this is an enumerator, which means we can wait, which is awesome. We wait for the animation. Um, do scale 0, and we may as well add this to the config file. Maybe pop it in here with the rest of the battle things. Warp scale speed. We'll just use that. Config instance warp scale speed. So I don't know if this works, but I hope it does. It might just wait until they scale to nothing. And then we can set position. So hold on, last position is a vector3i. So we grab the real position. And the current position, probably all of this. And then this just set the position. Okay, so that's last position, last position. So this gets done before we actually move, does it? Yeah, we haven't even moved at this point. Then we'll just, this is the part that does the move, but we don't care about that. We will just set the position. Is this redundant? Yeah, it already sets the position. So I think I can change that in walk action as well. Where it says this. Okay, set the position to the end. Then we will yield return battle unit transform do scale. We will scale back to 1 at the same speed, and then we will trigger that we have stepped. But the movement cost should be the total movement cost. So I think that's maybe just path count. How many spaces were moved total. And I've got a feeling that's it. I don't need any of this shite. Um, yeah, okay, so I guess I don't need that in here. We move uh, per one per waypoint in the path because we're warping. Don't care about that. And that means I can get rid of this. Now we can try out. Oh, we didn't add it to movement. So here we go. Warp move action. And move position and callback. We'll just copy this basically. Warp move action. Okay, that. Warp move action. Warp move action equals new. Parent battle unit and move position. Set level 0. Set callback to callback and then add it to the queue. So he doesn't do shit. He's supposed to fly. And we don't have fly yet. And he can't fall back because I returned, which I probably shouldn't have. So he should be able to walk. Yeah, he's walk, so this should work. Okay. She should warp. Okay, we didn't yield. We didn't wait. Oh no, it's 0 because we've done 0. Didn't set config. Make it 1 whole second. Let's do it real slow. Okay, we don't wait at all. Um, how do I yield this again? I've forgotten. Uh, it's I could do a hacky workaround where you run this and then on complete you set a value to break out, but that's probably the very, very wrong way to do it. Wait for completion. Does that do it? I'll just ask Grok because it's much faster. And Unity C# using DoTween version 2. How do I yield return and wait for a tween to complete? Yield return wait. Okay, so maybe it is just what I've put. So let's test this out. Let's warp. No. Oh, it's probably because I forgot this again. Okay, that's not bad. but it's not costing any movement at all. Pretty cool though, I like it. Definitely want to speed up though. 0.25. Let's go quick, 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 quick. We don't want to waste the player's time. We want visual so they can see what's happening, but we don't want to waste their time. Maybe it's too quick. 0.5. Let's do 1 second for the whole thing. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, 0.5. Now, I would prefer if it scaled from the middle, but I don't know if I can be bored trying to get that done right now. For warp movement, scale to 0 and back to 1 from the center of the object rather than the pivot at the bottom, at the feet. We're working on this now, so I'll just get rid of that. So why is this not oh, we're probably not even looking for warp move action in the turn controller. There it is. No, that won't be it. Huh. Yes, there it is. And I didn't. Oh my god. I've not unsubscribed. Terrible. Terrible. Warp move action dot on step plus equals, and we will just set up in the same way we did before. Warp dot on step minus equals, and we have taken the movement left and reduced it by the step cost. A lot of moving parts. Hopefully it's blocked off in a smart enough way that I'll figure things out pretty quickly. Let's see. So you can move and then suddenly you can't. You can warp 2 and then you can't. Why? So that's walk, not the right thing. Warp. So that probably includes the starting point as well, which is not very fair to remove an extra one because they started on something. Now I've got a feeling I can do this. When would this break? This would break if they somehow managed to get past this, and they weren't moving at all. If it, you know what? No, even if they were moving one space, this would be 2, and it would minus 1 to make 1. If it was no spaces, it would be path count would be 1 because the one they start on minus 1, which would only be 0, so that's fine. Yep, and anyway, we've blocked that off, so it should be fine to do minus 1 just to get rid of the starting position. And it may even be a plan to calculate the path, but then remove the one at the start at some point. maybe you can get away with that. I'm not sure. It might be needed to calculate the path, but so let's see. You can move 2, and then you can move 2, and then 1. Okay, so he's got his. Move 2. Should be 1 left. Lovely. So let's work on fly. So I'm just going to copy, probably copy the walk one. And I think maybe if you're flying, it should not trigger step-based problems. So let's see. Oh, I renamed it there, which I shouldn't have. Let's go fly, fly. Yeah, in here I'll probably have to pass in the type of movement as well at some point. Stop. So let's see what we're doing. You know what? Do everything the same, but we're gonna just hover a little at the start and then land at the end. I think that's all we need to do for this, because all the difficulty will come from on step events to trigger traps, to trigger reactionary attacks. But if we pass in that we're flying, we can bypass all those effects. So this should be a fairly easy one. Let's just start with the config and say public float battle unit fly height. And then also should be fly raise and lower speed. So at the start of this path, we will yield return battle unit dot transform dot do move. We don't want to move the actual battle unit. That's the problem. We don't want to move the battle unit. Let's add in public game object visual uh, battle unit visual. This might be undone at some point, but this is just the way that it would probably work in my head. Let's make a battle unit visual script. It's going to have nothing on it. Let's go into our prefab battle unit. On the visual, add battle unit visual. Come on, what's this? Battle unit. What did I call it? Battle unit visual. So grab that, and then we will do the local move Y. And we'll just move config dot instance battle unit fly height, and it will take battle unit raise and lower speed. So let's just make this a bit more readable. So what we're doing here, we don't want to change the position of the battle unit, so we're going to access just the visual part, which is on the inside, and then we'll move this up or down. So we'll go bump and then back down. It's always better to manipulate this sort of thing than it is the object itself, because we don't want to corrupt the position by saying, oh, jump up 0.5, and now suddenly it thinks the battle unit is 2 steps higher than it actually is. We just want it to look like it's flying. We don't want it to actually be up in the air somewhere. So did I change that properly? Let's see. Battle unit. Battle unit has a visual, and inside battle unit, I am grabbing, oh, get component in children. So yeah, this doesn't actually do anything other than being a tag that we can latch onto during the fly move action. And then we get the transform of this child, and then move it up on the Y and do it this quickly. And then we'll just do the reverse at the end when we've landed. So it will be minus fly height. You know what, that's in the wrong place. How do I reverse tab in this? Screw it, I'll just type it out. Alright, let's just see, I guess just see how it looks. Oh, we've not even added the code, okay. So movement, if you fly, we will do fly move action. Pass in that and the callback, lovely. Private void, fly move action, move position, and an action, callback. So this is just the same as the rest. Parent battle unit, move position, set level to 0 because this is the starting action. Set callback to callback, and then add it to the action list or action queue. Okay. You want to undo this, buddy? No. Okay. We'll just test it anyway. Who can fly? This guy can fly, right? So let's see. Move. He didn't fly though. Is that because I forgot to change? Oh, of course it is. So the fly height, we'll just go 0.5. Try and do it fairly quick again. Oh, we went into the ground. So maybe that's just 0 instead of minus the fly height. We'll go to position 0. Let's go fly, boom, and back down. You know what, I want him to be able to go through. So that, yeah, that's what we need to fix on this. He should be able to just go through people as the shortest path. So maybe I need to pass in to the find path the type of movement this is. Wait, that's this isn't the right thing anyway. Well, it is and it's not. We want to begin with the select move position. Get reachable positions, we'll need to know the type of movement, because if we're warping, we don't really care about if a position is blocked or not. It should be, the neighbors of that should be searched, and then we remove at the end any blocked positions from that. So again, maybe I could just hard code this and it would be a lot quicker than trying to add in all kinds of different catch statements and you should allow it if this, but block it if that. But let's have a read. Get reachable positions. If you can move to this position, well, technically we don't care if it's yeah, we don't care if it's blocked. We just don't want to be able to move there. So maybe this can be removed, or not removed, but switch around the code. Check for that one first. And then we'll drop this in here. If you can't move to the position, scream and cry about it. So the code still does the same thing at the moment. We've just split this into two checks instead of a combined one. So now I can wrap this in another if to say if we're flying or if we're warping or if we're doing anything that's not walking, then we don't really care. Okay, so we need to pass in here movement type and movement type. If movement type equals walk, then we care about this. Because all the others don't care. If we're flying, warping, digging, doesn't matter. But then at the end, If movement type does not equal walk, then we'll need to remove all of the tiles. You know what? This has a lot more than just this. Let's break this down. Let's make this many different checks instead of just the one. So this is going to be different. This will be different. We'll get rid of this as well. So instead of can move to position, we're going to split it up into 3 different checks. Okay, looks like a crazy person action right now, but can jump to position is the first check. Let's get rid of those. But we'll get rid of that and we will say is position blocked by object. But it is position free of objects because we pass true if it is free. We pass false if it's not free. And then the last one will be get rid of that, and we will say is position valid, because we're just checking the sphere collider sort of stuff. Get rid of this, we don't need it. We don't need jump height. We don't need that. We just need a position for this one. So the code's becoming a bit easier to read actually by splitting this out into different ones. If the position is free of objects, we don't need to check the jump height. We don't even need to check the current position because all we're interested in is the position we're checking. Same as this one. Is position valid? Is it free of objects? Can you jump to the position? So let's see again. This is no longer a thing. We want to say is position valid first of all? Neighbor position. If it's not valid, we will continue. And then if is position free of objects, if it's not free, we will continue. And then we'll do if jump, something to do with if can jump to position. There we go. Current position, current node dot position, neighbor position, and jump height. So if you can't jump, then we move on to the next check. So all them want to know if the position is valid. So that stays. Is a position free of objects? This is the one where I think this is only... This is probably only if you're walking, because we don't want the check to stop. So we will keep this locked behind walk movement, or maybe just double up the check with it. If movement type equals that walk and the position isn't free. And then maybe this is the same. Can we jump to the... Nah. I guess flying and warping has some kind of jump height. Let's see, where's the warp? Walk jump height is the jump stat. Warp we set to basically the move distance, and fly back to the jump height, which probably doesn't make sense. Maybe just make that the same as this for now. So I guess we still want to keep the jump in. So at the moment it's just the if it's blocked. But then when we get to the bottom, if movement type is not equal to walk, then we want to remove any of these reachable tiles if they are blocked themselves, because we haven't checked if they're blocked. We're skipping over it in order to increase the range that we can land on. So now I guess I'll do is position free of objects. Is that not good? Reachable is a dictionary. Right, so for each reachable, so this is, what's the float? That's the G cost. Interesting. Okay, so reachable for each node, maybe node dot key vector3 int position equals that, I believe. Yep. So if is position free of objects position. So if it's not free of objects, and we can't actually remove this while inside of it, which is kind of annoying. So a different way of doing this, because this is fooked up. List of vector3 int reachable positions, reachable position list equals this, reachable position list. For I, we'll go backwards. Is there Is there a way of doing a backwards loop? For R. Step. For R. Okay. So we start at reachable position list count and then go down from there. So if the position is blocked, then we will remove that item from the list. Now I think this is fine. We only do this if we can't walk because walk already factors this in. So let's see if that did it or if I've just buggered it. Reachable position is going to look for a movement type now, which is acting battle unit movement dot movement type. Anything else? Can move to position. Is this? Oh, that's just not a thing anymore. So we need to add in the checks here. So what order did I do again? Is position valid? I think is the most important. Neighbor position. Continue. If is position free of objects. Continue. If is can jump to position. So this is current current node dot position and then neighbor position and jump height. Continue. And because it's finding the path, I don't think I need to cut out anything at the end. But I probably do need to do the movement type, and then add in if movement type is equal to walk and the position isn't free, because I'm assuming find path should only really be running if we've verified the end position in the first place. So let's see what's broken. We need to pass in the move type, which will be battle unit movement dot movement type. So I've maybe already done that. Battle unit movement type, and then probably for the walk one as well, right? Yep. Battle unit movement type. So let's see if anything's different. So you should be able to fly anywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that looks a bit goofy. Instead of hopping, maybe just make him glide into position. Does she dig? I can't remember. Yep, dig, which we've not done yet. He should walk just like normal. Yep, and she should warp. Okay. Right, so I wasn't even looking there Can she warp through people just fine? 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's brilliant. And can he fly through people? Be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he can. Okay. But then back to this guy. He can't seem to walk through people. If I move here, oh, we got a bug. Right. So walk action tried to make him move and it broke. So let's see. Ah, the fly is moving through people, which could upset the position. What's it called? The grid object. It could overwrite and then it could destroy who was standing there, because I've assumed you can only have one person in one position at a time. Ah. Okay, so have a think about this. Right, I guess we have a better look at the grid system, and also the grid object. There is a content list. We assume one battle unit, so that's the problem. Um, so it's a bit of a workaround. It's a bit of a workaround, and it's a bit hacky, and it also limits what you can do with the system. But when flying, you could just remove the step, and then just have a step at the end when he lands. So the negatives of this would be yeah, the negatives would be maybe you do want some kind of sniper who, if something tries to fly past them, they can shoot. Yeah, keep in mind this doesn't have to be fantasy, magic, RPG. You can turn this into anything. Um, Sci-fi, and you have like flying robots and stuff, and then having snipers for long range attacks, or even rifles and guns. Could be a western. That'd be a pretty cool idea. Make a western turn-based thing, like Wasteland or something. Um, or maybe you keep the on step. This doesn't actually post the position. It does post the unit, which means you can get the position, but I thought it would have been sensible to just have the position there, but no, maybe that's fine that you're posting less data. Yeah, maybe keep the step, but don't do this because we know you can move through something. What happens if we get rid of this? Okay, we need real world position. Um, so it's just the grid object stuff we can get out of here. So this goes here. Um, Maybe I can just use this. So put that back inside. We'll use battle unit dot position v3i to get the grid object. We will remove the grid object, but we won't create a new one until we land. And then when we land, we will create a new grid object at battle unit dot position v3i, the last position, current position, add the content and add it to the grid. So we are still doing the step movements, and this is inside, which is very wrong. This should be outside. I don't think I'll do dig right now, so add dig movement type and action. It's basically going to be fly, but you go on down instead of up. But I may want to try and add things like detecting the ground underneath you to make sure you're allowed to dig and things. So it might be a bit longer. I just don't want to do it right now. So let's try flying through people and then try and move into that spot that was taken or something. Okay, that's annoying. Oh, hold on. Fly is not reducing the movement allowance. Kind of annoying. Oh, I've just not added it. It's just not looking for it. That's fine. So if I purposely fly through people and then I try to move and then move, it looks like it's all working again. So yeah, interesting bug, quite a fun bug. Turn controller needs to look for fly dot on step plus equals fly dot on step minus, and we'll do the same thing. Each step you reduce the movement. One last test and that'll be it for these videos. And we'll get thinking about the next thing I want to do. So we'll go here. There should be what, one left. Okay, great. It's all working as expected now. Let's we've got a pretty decent grasp on this. We can get rid of that. What was the other one? 20 jump height. Yeah, we don't need that. Right. Yep, that's it for this then. Thanks for watching.